Hi, welcome to Draw Tip Tuesday. My name is Koosje Koenen and I'm back from my little break and I want to wish you a very happy new year. Thank you so much for joining me here and let's play in our sketchbooks today. I get a lot of questions about making a collage and combining it with drawing. And I myself learned that just recently. I took a workshop last year and I learned from Marina Grechanik how to do different sorts of compositions and then draw on top. And basically what it's all about is color and texture and shapes, of course, but also very much about letting go and not being precious about what you made. Because you are going to draw on top of maybe a beautiful finished collage that you made. And I think that is just so great as an exercise to do every now and then. And I just really enjoy playing with collage. So today, let's try and do that together. What I'd like to show you today is how I do a collage piece as a preparation of the page to draw on top of it. And I will use some collage pieces that I collected throughout a few months actually last year during trips that I did when I was teaching workshops. And I still had those in my sketchbooks. So let's see what I've got and let's see how I can use those things. I have some collage material already, but I also went through some of my recent sketchbooks in which I keep these envelopes in the back. And I just went through them, what was in there. So I found this map, for example, which I left in there because I don't really love the colors. And I also use these envelopes to keep notes in when I'm teaching. That is very handy. So I always have them with me as I have my sketchbook with me always. Here in this one, there's just a few business cards left. I took a few other things out. And here's another example of one of those, repurposed envelopes. And yeah, there's mostly notes in this one, I think, and a handout from a workshop. So yeah, I took everything out that I might want to use, and I'm going to prepare one of my pages in this sketchbook. I was thinking, since I have quite a small arrangements of little bits and pieces here in the back of my sketchbook, I can use these and I'll take them out. But since I found all these things from recent sketchbooks, they are real mementos. These are just like a piece of tissue paper, part of an envelope, which are great. And I love the combination of these two colors. I could do a collage piece with just this. But the things that I found in my recent sketchbooks are actually really all mementos. And I thought it might be good to actually use those now that those memories are sort of fresh. And actually, I had been doing quite a bit of collage also for my workshops to show people how to do it. So I have a whole bunch of small little bits and pieces with colors that are sort of already sought out, but also a small thing from a bread basket in Portugal. This was, the cutlery was in this, in Malta. A piece of bright red because it's just a good color. And this was for a workshop, a little thing. I like the color. Maybe I can use that. And I have a little bit more of that tissue paper. I also have gray paper. I have a little bit of a wrapping paper, packing paper, whatever it's called. So I have way more than I will use, but I just want to show you how you can prepare a sketchbook page with collage pieces, having really a lot of fun making the collage, and then afterwards that page will become the starting point for a drawing, which I will show you in a next Draw Tip Tuesday video, because today is all about collage. All right, so I am thinking about using those mementos, right? So this is from Portugal. This is too from Malta. This is from Paris. I don't know if this is going to work color-wise, but I have other things. So maybe I do love the yellow that's going on, the yellow, the warmish colors. So maybe this one is actually also a match with that. I think I need to take this one out. I have this whole palette of blues. I will use those a different time, I think. This might be interesting. The dark ones here, they are already shapes that I could use. More of that yellowish, warmish. This is starting to look like something color-wise. So what I'm basically doing is looking at my color palette. This is too harsh, too artificial, in combination of the very warm, earthy tone colors. Maybe I want a little bit of this. I don't know. So these are all possibilities. Do I want some typography in there? I don't know yet. Maybe some of this because it's transparent. So I could use that. This could also work. I'm really getting somewhere here. The fact that I am collecting all these bits and bobs now, it doesn't mean that I will use all of it. But I just want to find a color palette that will work for me today. And that means that I won't use that pink tissue paper that I like really a lot, but I can see how that combines with this and maybe also with this. And that would be a completely different color palette, right? So I will save that for some other time. And what I'm going to do now is I am just going to have some fun with the bits and pieces that I have. I'll put them on the page and off of it again to just find a composition that really feels right for me. And I have found that it helps to rip rather than cut. But I also do like these very straight cut pieces. But somehow the ripping of collage just brings a lot of organic goodness, which I really like. So I'm already starting to combine. This is nice. This is sort of half transparent. I like that. So I'm already trying to find a little bit of cohesion here. I'll probably, if I use this, I'll probably just rip part of it, maybe to just use that nice painty texture. Yeah, I like that. So don't be too precious about this. This is really just play. And the thing about doing collage this way is that it's a really fun way to think about color palettes and to think about composition without even thinking about what you are drawing. So this is completely abstract. You're not drawing anything. This is just preparing a page, just like you would do that when you are making a watercolor wash on your page. Just to have something on the page going on, and then you can use that later if you are drawing on location, for example, drawing from observation. You can see that I'm reducing all the stuff that I have into smaller pieces, but I also want a few larger pieces. I love that orange in this piece. And of course you can cover things up as well if they are too distracting. So this page will be France, Italy, Malta, Portugal, all trips that I did at the end of last year. So all these mementos from my past teaching trips will turn into a background basically for a drawing that I will be doing here in the Netherlands. I'm moving things around on the page, just trying possibilities, placing stuff, try just all kinds of things, and let's not be too precious about it. It's not important. It's just a little bit of fun with color and shape. At this point, I feel like I need more yellow, so I'm looking for more yellow, and I do have some more of that watercolor wash, which I made in Italy. I'm not exactly sure about the black lines. They are very sharp and also very contrasty, and I hear myself already think about how to draw over that, but I'm trying to just let that go because I just want to be in the moment of doing this collage instead of thinking ahead and thinking what if scenarios. But when something seems too contrasty, then you can always use something transparent, bits and pieces, to calm it down a little bit. I'm thinking that maybe this page is quite busy, but you know what? I'll deal with it. I'm just going to glue things down. You can see if you can wrinkle a little bit of the paper. It will be a little bit tricky to draw on top of it, but you can handle that. You got this. What I always look for is repetition of things so that the collage feels like it has a certain cohesion, and I don't want to fill the whole page because I also do still want some white of the paper, but you can go as crazy or as minimalistic as you want, of course. The process is very intuitive, and I hope that when you see me do this, it sort of rings through that it's just really about making an abstract kind of composition, a feeling, a vibe. So I keep looking for repeating shapes, repeating colors, repeating bits and pieces, which I have now seen in my other collage pieces that you can echo those colors as well once you are drawing on top, and then it becomes even more a whole, even though at the beginning it really doesn't feel like that. I think I'm just looking for things lining up a little bit, but not too much. Repetition, I like it when shapes sort of fit into another shape, pieces fit into each other or seem to follow each other, and that way the composition just becomes. I think because I was recording this, I was making it a little bit more complicated than I would usually do. I think actually if you have 3 different pieces, like a tissue paper, a piece of brown paper bag, and some other colored paper, then you already have enough to create a really fun composition with. I just have a lot of stuff here. But again, it's an intuitive process, and one time it will be done in 10 minutes, and the next time you will be just fiddling with it half an hour, and that actually will be a really fun half hour because you're spending it playing and creating. Collage adds so much texture, and paper has all these different kinds of textures, and that's just really exciting. And when I do a page like this, it is just a big challenge for me because I tend to just grab a pen and watercolors, and that is not exactly what I can do on top of this, right? So it's a challenge in such a fun and different way. And that's why I have been doing this every now and then. The collaging is a very playful moment, and it's a very creative break, basically. And the wonderful thing about it, there is no right or wrong. You can just play. I feel like this really taps into that feeling that I had when I was a kid, you know, playing with paper and glue and just making stuff, creating something. Didn't even matter what the result was, but it was just really fun to glue and work with color, work with texture. Well, everything that we're doing here right now. And then of course there's this whole thing about composition, but that would be a whole other class, you know? But you can look up my composition video here on YouTube if you want to think about composition a little bit more. Now I'm sort of refining things. And I just trust that I will make decisions that will make me happy in the end. And you know, it's just paper. It literally is just pieces of paper that we are ripping, and that's kind of liberating, isn't it? I also noticed that on the yellow paper there are notes on the other side, and I hope they weren't important because I just ripped them up. So, do I like the composition that I have here? I think I do. I could go on forever, but I will not. I'm quite happy with my composition. It's quite busy, and I'm curious how I will be using this when I will be drawing on top. I will probably have to use a dark, bold line, and maybe some of the shapes will make sense for the subject or the view that I will be drawing. But we will find out next week. So if you need an assignment this week, then make a composition with at least 2 different pieces of collage material. So maybe it is a bit of tissue paper and part of a paper bag, and you can actually do a lot with these 2 things already. And if you want to add a color, well, then rip a color out of a magazine and play with your color. What are the color combinations that you are looking for that basically are you? These are seriously fun explorations, and I promise you that you will struggle, but it's a fun struggle and you will have fun. Now I can't wait to find out what I will be drawing on top of this. I'm really curious. And I really hope that you will have fun with the assignment of making a collage. And if you never do collage, you might think that you don't have any collage stuff, but think again. Some printed piece of paper could be interesting. A piece of a brown paper bag. Maybe there's some tissue paper that came with something that was delivered. There are things around you that can be really interesting, color-wise, texture-wise. So don't be discouraged if you've never done this before. Well, if you have a glue stick, everybody can do this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and you can hit that bell button so you get notified every week as soon as my new video is published. And I'd like to invite you to join me on Patreon, because there I share more tips, assignments, inspiration, all sorts of stuff that can help you sustain your creative habit. And you will also find a lot of artists just like you over there in the community. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.